Are you looking to buy a home in Birmingham, Alabama? Birmingham is a fantastic place to live with its diverse neighborhoods, rich history, and amazing cuisine. But navigating the home buying process can be a little daunting. I get it. That's why today we are going to break down the steps in order to have a successful move to the Magic City. So grab a pen and paper or just sit back and relax. We have a lot to cover. And be sure and watch to the end for my 5 tips for first-time homebuyers. So let's go over a few things that you need to do. Before you even get started scrolling through Zillow or going to open houses, let's get your financial house in order. We need to get a clear picture of your finances before you start home shopping. Your credit score is a major factor in buying a house. And did you know the higher your credit score, the better rate you're going to get? And did you know you can check your own credit? There are 3 major credit reporting bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You might want to check these to make sure there's no errors on your credit report. Aim for a score that's 620 or higher, and there's plenty of free services online to check your credit score. Next, you want to calculate your debt to income ratio, or your DTI. And what do I mean by that? You want to take your monthly gross income, and then you want to tally up your monthly expenses, such as your credit card payments, your car payment, student loans, or any other monthly bills you have to pay on a regular basis. You divide your monthly debt payments by your gross monthly income. And again, we're looking for 43% or less. If you haven't started saving for your down payment, now's a good time to start. And you're going to have closing costs. So how much down payment do you need? Typically, it's anywhere from 2.5% to 20%. If you haven't already started, start saving for your down payment and your closing costs. How much do you need? Well, anywhere from 3.5% to 20% if you're getting a conventional or FHA loan. There are 100% loans out there that are USDA and VA loans. Your lender can tell you what you qualify for and what your down payment's going to be. So what are your closing costs? Well, your closing costs encompass your down payment, attorney fees, title, mortgage title, and what other closing costs will you need? Well, the other closing costs besides your down payment include your attorney fees at closing, your title insurance, your mortgage insurance, taxes, home insurance, and there's a few other costs that will happen at closing. Typically, your closing cost will be anywhere from 2 to 5%. So start saving early so you can explore different strategies. Next up, you need to get pre-approved for a mortgage. If you're not paying cash, you need a pre-approval before you start shopping. And you want to have that mortgage approval before you start shopping so you know what your budget is, you know how much your down payment is, and approximately how much your closing costs are going to be. And when you write that offer, your offer is going to be stronger if we submit that offer with a pre-approval letter. So your lender is going to ask for a couple of documents that you can go ahead and start collecting. That is your latest bank statements, your past 2 years of taxes, and your W-2 stubs. You'll need to provide a few documents for the lender, and these include your pay stubs, bank statements, and your last 2 years of your taxes, along with any investments that you might have too. Our next step is understanding the Birmingham market. It is so important that when you pick your real estate agent here in Birmingham, you pick an agent that is knowledgeable about the market here in Birmingham. They will be able to guide you and help you negotiate your offer and get you to closing. Birmingham has seen an increase in property values over the last couple of years, and it's generally considered a seller's market right now in Birmingham. And what do I mean by a seller's market? Well, a seller's market happens when there are more buyers out there than there are homes for sale, and vice versa when it's a buyer's market. That means there's fewer buyers than there are homes for sale. And your realtor will be able to tell you which market you're in. And remember, depending on where you are shopping for your next home, the markets can be different from one area to the next. What neighborhoods should you consider when you are moving to Birmingham? Well, there's a lot of thought you need to put into that. Do you need to be close to downtown Birmingham? If so, you've got Avondale, Woodlawn, Crestmont, Crestwood, Homewood, Mountain Brook, Vestavia Hills. Now, the closer you are to Birmingham, the higher the housing costs typically are. You can go just outside a little bit further from Birmingham, and you've got suburbs, Hoover, Bluff Park, Pelham, Chelsea, Alabaster, and Helena. You know, working with a local real estate agent such as I am here in the Birmingham, Alabama area is so important because a local agent should understand exactly what is happening in the market. Your agent should be able to set you up on a search based on your criteria and your budget in the areas that you want to live in. They can help you navigate neighborhoods, find properties, write your offers, negotiate your offers, give you advice, and guide you through the entire closing process. Look for an agent that is experienced, communicative, and one that can guide you through the transaction. If you don't know of an agent, be sure and ask any friends, family, or colleagues for any suggestions that they might have. Okay, now we're going to start the home search. Now that you're pre-approved, we know your budget, we know the criteria. I want you to do this little task for me. I want you to get out a clean sheet of paper and you write needs at the top of one side and wants at the top of the other side. And under needs, these are your non-negotiables that you are looking for in your next home. These are the things you must have in that home. And on the wants are things you would like to have. And I want you to keep in mind, there is never 100% of all your needs and your wants that you're going to get. You're going to probably compromise, so look for homes that have about 85% of that list. And what could those needs be? Well, things such as the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, do you want a basement? Do you need a home office? Do you need a backyard? Do you need a fenced-in backyard? Do you need to be close to work? What is that commute going to be like? Do you need to be close to healthcare? All those things you need to start writing down on a piece of paper because your agent can better help you when they know exactly what you're looking for in your next home. Your agent's going to set you up for online listings with the multiple listing service here in Birmingham, Alabama. You will get immediate notification when a home comes on the market that meets your criteria. So you can stop looking on Realtor.com and Zillow. You're going to get the most up-to-date through our MLS system here in Birmingham. You can also visit open houses. That's a great way to check out the neighborhoods, and you might even meet a few neighbors there. And did you know most agents are doing virtual tours now? And what do I mean by that? Well, they're taking walkthrough videos showing potential buyers exactly what a home looks like. And if that's not available and you're not local here in Birmingham, let's just say you're shopping from another state and can't run to Birmingham every time a house hits the market, your agent can go and do some quick video for you or FaceTime you from the property and do a walkthrough. And when you find that home, be prepared to act quickly. What did I say at the beginning of this video? I said most of the areas in Birmingham, we are still in the seller's market, which means we have more buyers than we do have sellers. So you could very well find you in a competitive offer situation. Your agent will guide you through this process. So having that pre-approval and being ready to go when you submit that offer is definitely going to make your offer stand out and be stronger. So now that you found the right house, you've fallen in love, it's time to make that offer. Your agent is going to look up comparable sales and properties in that area, and we call that running comps in real estate lingo. Your agent will then be able to tell you the value of the property, and depending on if there's other offers on the table, where to start with your negotiations and help you work through the contingencies that you attach to an offer. So let's talk a little bit about contingencies. Typically, your top 3 contingencies that are in a contract are home inspection, financing contingency, and appraisal contingencies. So let's start with the home inspection contingency. Usually, that's what we do first. In the state of Alabama, we are a caveat emptor state. What does that mean to you as a buyer? Well, caveat emptor means buyer beware. Therefore, it is up to you as the buyer to do all your due diligence and inspect the property to your satisfaction before you purchase the property. We are a non-disclosure state, so if you're coming from a different state, that's one thing that is different here in Alabama. And you will hire a third party to go into the home and inspect that home from top to bottom. Their reports, now get ready, their reports are going to be from anywhere from 50 to probably 80 pages to remind you that you will pay for that home inspection at the time as part of your due diligence. The second contingency that's typically in place is your financing contingency. This allows the financing to stay in place till the end of the contract. So if for any reason you were to lose financing during the contract period, you could walk away with, sign a mutual release and get your earnest money back. And the third contingency that we see is the appraisal contingency. Now the lender hires the appraiser, and the appraiser represents the lender. The appraiser goes out to the property, and that appraiser puts a dollar value on the property. And as long as the dollar value comes back at or above contract purchase price, you're good to go. If it comes in lower than contract purchase price, you will have several options to still negotiate and hopefully get this deal to the closing table. You will need to work with your realtor, and that realtor will go through those options with you. If the appraisal comes in higher than the contract purchase price, guess what? You have immediate equity. Congratulations. And along the way through this contract period, and it's typically 30 days in Alabama, anywhere from 30 to 45 days from the time your contract is accepted to the time you get to the closing table, there could be still many negotiations along the way. Some could be repairs, some could be low appraisals. You could have those negotiations, or an inspection could come back and you needed to, negotiate something on that inspection. So you're not done yet. Got to get all the way through the contract. Now, here we are getting ready for closing. Congratulations. You have made it through inspections. You have made it through the appraisal period. Now you've got to get ready for closing. Well, there's several things you're going to need to do. Have the utilities transferred into your name, have home insurance in place on the day of closing, and your lender will make sure you have gotten that taken care of. And you will also do a walkthrough prior to closing to make sure the home is in acceptable condition. I always have my clients do the walkthrough as close to closing as we can possibly go. The reason is that is their last chance to lay eyes on the property before they sign on the dotted line. There's no 30-day back guarantee. Once you sign, that home is yours. And when you get to closing, expect it to last about an hour if you are getting a loan. If you're lucky enough to pay cash, it's about 30 minutes. Once all the paperwork has been signed by both the buyer and the seller and processed, you will get the keys to your new home. Congratulations. Here are the top 5 tips I have for first-time home buyers here in Birmingham, Alabama. Number 1, explore down payment assistance programs. You can ask your lender if you qualify for any of these programs, and they will connect you and help you through the process. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask any questions. There's no silly questions when you are buying a piece of property. If you don't understand something, ask your agent, ask your lender, ask your home inspector, ask the title company, ask the closing attorney. There are so many questions when you are purchasing your first home. Don't be afraid to ask, and make sure you understand every step of the process. Number 3, this I can't stress enough. Be patient. Buying a home can sometimes be like a roller coaster, okay? You're going to be high one minute, you're going to be low the next. That's normal. This is probably the largest financial purchase that you are making to date. There's going to be bumps in the road. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you choose the right realtor to represent you, that agent is going to help navigate, negotiate, and get you to the closing table. Just take a deep breath, have fun, and enjoy the process. Number 4, I want you to consider your future needs. Right now, maybe all you need is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Maybe you plan on being in this home for 10 to 15 years. A lot can happen during that time frame. When you select your home, think about your future need. And number 5, don't forget to budget ongoing costs. It's like having a car. There's routine maintenance in owning a car. You have to get oil changes, checkups, you have to get new tires, new brake pads. The same with owning a house. You've got systems in your house that will need maintaining. Have a savings set aside for those unexpected expenses that may come up in the future. And congratulations. I want you to enjoy this process of buying your first home. I want you to have patience. I want you to have fun, and I want you to know it's going to be exciting, because when you get those keys to your first home, it's all going to be worth it. Be sure and watch the next video, as I'm going to go over our contracts here in Alabama so you know exactly exactly what to expect before you have to write your first offer. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below.